All right, what's up? Move, think, smile, burnout to badass group. You superstars, what's happening today? Adam coming at you here live with the incredible all-American badass, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute, Sean GOWDEN. Now, this is a really, really unique episode. I'm really pumped up for it. I'm super excited because something is happening in North America, especially the United States around, and people aren't really grasping onto this. And today we're going to get deep into some depression, and we're going to get deep into some really crazy stuff that's happened to Sean. And the crazy story here is that there was no tragedy. There was no bad childhood. There was nothing. But I want to step back a second, and I want to say, Sean, do you know what this is?
Yeah, I know what that is.
Do you remember where this came from?
Yeah, I know, and I hate you for it.
So I first met Sean actually just kind of out of nowhere in New Jersey at a Spartan race. Actually, the Spartan Beast. That's considered one of the worst, hardest, difficult, most treacherous Spartan races of all time. Up and down double black diamond slopes for 15 or 16 miles or something like that. It was just ridiculous. And Ellie and I had just finished filming the NBC TV show Spartan. And we were there, and this guy comes up, no hair. He's like, "Hey, can you sign my duffel bag?" And we're like, "That sounds pretty cool." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I think he wanted the girl's signature. I don't know if he really wanted mine, but he was just playing along." So, but it was really cool. And then a couple years went by, nothing, right? Never really saw or heard from you again. Maybe some Facebook stuff, but I didn't really didn't know who you were. And then when we opened up our new program a while ago, Sean was basically first in line to say, me. And so I want to let him tell the story of how this guy, where everything looks great on paper, right? Like there should be absolutely no reason why you hit the burnout that you did. So can you tell people kind of what you do, what your background is, and we'll start there.
Okay, so I work for a large company, technology, learning, training, that kind of stuff. Got an awful lot of experience with it. And, I reached out to you guys, said, "Hey, you're launching this program. How can I help you throw fire on it?" And it turned into, how can you help me fix an awful lot of the issues I was running into? Like you said, there's no terrible backstory. I got a good job, beautiful wife, beautiful kids, great family, great house, great neighbors, living the American dream, and, thank God every day for that. But at some point, I was just not happy with it all. And I was happy with them. I was content, but there was just something missing. There was this feeling that it wasn't enough, it wasn't right, there had to be more. And then that's where you guys came in and helped me identify it.
So let's step back. So what were you dealing with? Like, what was going on?
At the time, my job at the time was winding down. I was outgrowing it. I was getting bored with it. I was in a position of just kind of treading water. That was adding stress because I wanted more. I wanted to do more. I was really pushing against where I was being led towards. It's right around the time you and I met at the Spartan race. And what Adam didn't say is while he and his team finished, I did not finish. I got 12 miles in, missed a time check, and did not finish it. And that was like my 5th, 6th Spartan race. And that just knocked me to my knees. And that was one of many things that, okay, Spartan race, screw you, I'm done with you. And bit by bit, all of these things that I had enjoyed doing, I didn't enjoy anymore. I didn't have Spartan racing. Didn't really enjoy working out. Put on a good amount of weight. Still working on that.
And we're talking about, and this is a 2-year period.
Oh, this is a 2-year period. By this time last year, it was a struggle for me I'm talking to you from my home gym. it was a struggle for me to even get down here to get on the bench, even do push-ups or sit-ups or just get on the rowing machine. It was a struggle, and I couldn't understand why. Sean, you got everything going for you. You have no excuses. You have no good excuses. So why aren't you happy?
And did you ever come up with a reason behind that?
Well, my employer allows us it has a really good wellness program. And one of the things I did was, I took their depression test and I scored really good on it, whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. But, are you binge eating? Are you not enjoying things you used to do? Are you feeling listless? Are you feeling anxious? I'm like, yes, 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 all of those things. And medication helped to a degree. And it got to a point where there was either more medication or there were the things I knew I had to do. Go enjoy time with my friends. Go work out. Enjoy time with my family.
Right.
But doing that was like pulling teeth. Going out with my friends, I don't know. And I'm like, wait a minute. What are you, an idiot? Go have fun.
So no motivation. And we can say that that your job is with a large insurance company.
Sure.
I mean, if you don't want to say, but yeah, a corporate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Corporate.
Corporate middle manager, right? Kind of like right in there.
Yeah.
Great family. Everything's going good. Nothing
Great
bad is happening, but all of a sudden you just started, no motivation, right? And you took that depression test, and then it came back that you were depressed or weren't depressed.
Oh, I was.
You were. Okay. So then you went on, and when you say medication, you're saying SSRIs, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Typical antidepressant medication. And what did that do to you?
It helped a little bit. It had some side effects, I won't get into, but had some side effects I wasn't thrilled with, but they were, the side effects were not as bad as the overall listlessness. So,
okay.
While it got me some of my mojo back.
But did it fix things?
There was a payoff. There was a trade-off.
Okay. So do you think the medication, but it did sound, and how long were you on the medication before you found us?
About 3 or 4 years.
About 3 or 4 years. Okay. So you were on antidepressants for 3 or 4 years. And when you came to us and we connected, talk about that, no motivation, classic depression.
Yep. So this isn't something that came on overnight. This was something that had been growing for years. We built a house. We moved into the house. Everything was going great. Everything is wonderful. Families together. And I think that's not when it started, but that's when a lot of the symptoms started rearing their ugly heads. And by the time I met you guys, late spring, early summer of last year, I was at the point where I was literally reaching out to friends of mine who own gyms and stuff and said, look, what can I pay you to coach me, to prepare me, to motivate me, to harp on me, to get my butt downstairs, to treat myself better, to eat right. I was at the point of desperation. I needed something. I knew that this feeling would be combated for me by time with friends, time with family, exercise, eating right, treating myself better. And that's where I met you. Like I knew the formula to do it. I just didn't want to.
Interesting.
I had the solution, just didn't want to.
So tell me some more about like the mental and physical symptoms there was obviously overwhelm in there. Yeah.
Overwhelmed. All it would take for me to get thrown off for the day is, a snippy comment with the kids or with my wife, a meeting where things don't go perfectly well. Well, you know what? My day's shot. I'm not going to get myself out of this funk. And it turned into, being overwhelmed with what are we going to have for dinner? All right, well, I've got steak and chicken in the fridge. I can't make a decision. I can't decide what I want for. What do you want? Well,
Right.
I don't care. I don't know what I want. Um,
It's a lot of indecision. Okay.
oh, tons of indecision. Just existing in a space of you don't know where you're going, where you want to go, what you want. You just know you don't want to be here.
Now, what else was going on inside your head? Was there any like guilt or anger or frustration?
A lot of frustration, and the frustration was with myself. So then that feeds. And I talked a little bit about, the DNF for the Spartan race.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Sean, you should have trained harder. You were lazy. There's those feelings of guilt. There's all right, you put on 50 pounds. What are you going to do about it? Oh, you're going to do nothing. I've got my old freshman year nun yelling at me in the back of my head, with all of her not so encouraging comments. That's where I was. I was tearing myself down just as much as I was trying to build myself back up.
And so, and so there was, and I know that when we got together, and actually we didn't learn this until, like about a month ago, you had said that you didn't even have a goal. Like
No, and that was one of the things. When you and Elia and I talked about burnout, and I couldn't put a label on my burnout beast. I couldn't say, oh yeah, well, there's my burnout right there. That's what I'm combating. I was trying to figure it out. Am I even burnt out? And then I realized, like, yeah, my burnout was with myself, with all of the stuff I was trying to do myself. I was burning myself out. I was making things worse for me. And I had stopped setting goals. I had stopped working towards goals.
Now, do you think I was gonna say, do you think you were powering through or ignoring the symptoms or just confused?
I think all three. I was
wow.
powering through because that's what you do.
Okay.
Had no idea where I was going, what I was doing. It's the Spartan mentality. You can handle anything that comes your way.
Right.
Just keep going. Just keep trucking up that hill. So I was just going to keep going.
That works. It works on a hill.
Yeah. But you know what? It doesn't work in real life.
No.
And the minute I set a goal, it was like all this clutter just vanished. And I think that's when the real hard work started, but that's when the good work and the good change really began.
Okay. So yeah, it is interesting. Like when we actually connected with Sean and talked to him about the program that we had launched a while ago, he actually does a lot of teaching and learning. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to help you guys, with this. And it's funny, as soon as he got into it, he realized that he needed exactly what we were doing. Right? Is that what you were saying?
I needed you more than you needed me.
Yeah, you needed us more than we needed him. That was a big surprise to us. And we were super stoked about that. And it's still funny. It's like I still go back and I relate to Sean so much because I really thought I was the only guy or the only person who ever felt this before. Because I remember in 1998, when my depression started setting in, it was a lot of anger and resentment and guilt. I had graduated Northwestern University in Chicago with a master's degree. I had an incredible job. I was traveling internationally to all these countries, Japan, Australia, Canada, France, the UK, getting out to the countryside. Like it was a dream job. And I was making insane money for being that young. But I was just miserable. And I could never know why. And I looked at it and then so I went on Prozac when it came out because my mom was on it. So I was like, I guess it's hereditary. So I need to get on it. So I got on it and it made things not suck for me, but it also made things not enjoyable either.
Exactly.
Right. That's what really bothered me about it. And so then, so things weren't sucking, but I could never be happy. And so then I went on Zoloft, right? And Zoloft just made me a freaking zombie. And completely took away my libido 100%. And it was just absolutely horrible. And then during that time, I ended up getting a divorce from my kid's mother, because I didn't know what to do. And it just trashed our relationship. And that was in the first 3 years. And then I moved 5 states away, got a job, making even more money, burned out there, and blah, blah, blah. 10 years later, had our final burnout. And that's when Ellie and I kind of burned out together. And I look back at it, and I think it's because, we have these dreams, Sean, and, we go out there. It's like you had the dream to complete something. I mean, you went to the Spartan race and dude, making it 12 miles through that was amazing. With as hard as that thing was, like anybody to make, I didn't think I was going to make it past that point because my knees were shot. Like I was sliding down the hill, rolling, just because,
you ended up having knee surgery right after that.
I had knee surgery right after that. I think that was the thing that I, broke the camel's back. But, I find it really interesting and looking back at it. And it was so, when we were talking yesterday, hearing your story, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only person. And we know that this is, rampant in full-time working people. And Sean, clue me in. Why do you think you got to this point?
Because it's the American way. It's the dad who, and I'm not the primary breadwinner, but it's the dad who makes the money, does things for the wife, does things for the kids, handles things around the house, strong, silent type, keep the peace. Life is good. I have, knock on wood, that perfect life, but there's a cost to it. And I was paying that price.
And what was, okay. So let's kind of like turn the tides here. So we got together a little while ago. You had said that, you knew that there wasn't a magic wand, were the words you used yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when we got together, you found what, a toolbox or what was it?
You guys gave me a toolbox, and bit by bit, tool by tool, you handed me stuff lesson by lesson. And I can remember going through, and I won't give too much away about the program.
That's all right.
But going through the rocks and backpack exercise.
Yep.
Like, holy crap, this is the first time I've been out in the woods by choice, other than a race, I think since college. And I mean, I grew up around woods. And I felt amazing. And I'm like, I'm cured. I've beaten stress. I've beaten my burnout beast. And, I didn't. But that was one tool. And then there was the next exercise with who my demotivators are. Mm-hmm. And identifying them and the, taking the Tai Chi approach of how do I redirect their energy into something more positive. All of those were the tools you guys gave me to manage the nonsense that was getting me down day to day.
And I think it's important to note that you actually, even though you work for a large insurance company in the corporate world, you actually work from home, right?
Right. Okay.
So there's, very little time like actually getting out of the house, right? Because you got the girls, right?
Yeah. That's anybody who works from home will understand some of the plight that you find yourself in the house all the time and becoming a hermit.
Yep. Do you think that had anything to do with it? Just the job requirements, or?
I did this by choice. I wanted to work from home. I look back, maybe it exacerbated some of the issues.
So what do you think was missing? What was that missing element? Like what the excitement? It sounds like there was excitement missing in your life.
That's exactly what it was. It was a break from the norm. It was excitement. It was something new, something different, something that was mine. Something like a new accomplishment.
Okay.
Because think about it. You're in your 20s. What are your goals, your big life goals in your 20s? Get married, get a good job, maybe build a house, buy a house, whatever, all of that. Mm-hmm. Through your 30s, stabilize all that stuff. Here I am, in my early 40s at that point, now into my mid 40s. Am I done? I've achieved all of that stuff I've been thinking about since I was a little kid. That's what you do as a grown up. You get a good job, you get married, you have a family, you get a house. And I mean, do I just fade away now? I'm not ready to fade away. I've still got my health. I've still got good health. I've got a lot of years left to go do some fun things. That focus, that idea of, Sean, go do some fun things was just missing.
Okay. And I think what's really interesting is like, you didn't even know, like you said, you didn't know what your goal was. You didn't have a goal. You just know you didn't like where you were. And let's talk a little bit about where you are today, because, the video that you posted the other day. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but right behind Sean is a weight rack, and he posted a video, and I think there was a little bit more weight on there when I saw this, right?
Yeah, there was a little bit out. So one of my first, probably my first big goal that I was able to set is I signed up for my first strongman competition.
Strongman.
Yeah, so this is like the mountain from Game of Thrones. This is the stuff he competes in. And I'm nowhere near that strong. I'm going to have a good time. I'm not going to be competitive. I'm going to have a new experience, to have a really cool story to tell at the bar afterwards. And I'm training for it. I've got to get stronger. And I put up 375 on the squat rack the other night, and that was a new PR. And I've pretty much been busting through PRs over the last, signed up in November. So since November, I've PR'd in just about everything.
And that means personal record for those who
personal record.
Yeah,
sorry.
Personal record.
It's been going up and up and up, and it feels really good. It feels good to have that goal. It feels good to be making progress towards that goal.
I think it's amazing because it took you a little while to figure it out. And then he got in touch with us and he's like, okay, I've got my goal. We're like, what? I'm going to Iceland and I'm going to enter the strongman competition where they lift rocks. And I'm like, that is badass. I'm like, that's a hell of a goal. And he's like, here's my strategy. I'm going to start here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to do a little strongman competition. It's kind of local. And I'm going to work my way into Iceland and I'm going to take my wife and it's going to be awesome. And I'm like, that's amazing, because coming from somebody who had no idea of who he even wanted to become or what he wanted to do or what goal he had for himself that excited him, and to turn that around and to discover that, how did that happen?
I had to be ready for it. I had to be open to new influences, open to what was seemingly impossible. And that's where you guys were operating for me. Think differently about stuff, move boldly. And it was absolutely bat crap crazy to think, I'm going to do strongman. But I saw a documentary on it, thought that looks really cool. And genetically, I'm gifted in the ability to lift heavy stuff. I'm not a sprinter. That's not my build. That's not my forte. But I saw these guys who looked like me, with a lot more muscle, lifting heavy rocks in Iceland. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I can do that. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's my big goal. So what are some littler goals? What are some smaller goals on the way to that? And as soon as I had those smaller goals, that this strongman comp in August, I was like, I got it.
That's awesome.
I got a roadmap.
And we're not even like the video we're talking about. He squatted 375 pounds, which if anybody's ever done any squatting before with weights, which it's been since college since I've done that is a ton of weight. And when I watched him do it, I mean, you could tell he was carrying something heavy, but you didn't look like you were struggling. And I'm fairly certain you're going to pop over 400, get to 450, and possibly even to the 500 range one day, because that is just freaking amazing. And like the bar and the weights and everything was just bending. And it's so cool to see you go from like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I here? Why am I wasting my time? To, I'm going to go to Iceland and lift the biggest rock in the world against the biggest dudes in the world. Like that's awesome. It's such a fun goal. It is such a fun goal. Now during this time, the 3 to 4 years that you knew that there was depression there, but you didn't realize it was actually burnout. Like, what other areas of your life was it affecting? Was it affecting your relationship with your wife, your kids, your friends?
Oh, absolutely. I was probably a pain in the neck to be around. Just didn't want to be bothered, didn't want to engage, and it still comes up from time to time. I mean, part of that is just me. I'm an introvert. I need my time to myself. But now, hey guys, you want to watch a movie tonight? You want to play a game? You want to go somewhere? You want to do something? Are words coming out of my mouth that weren't there a couple years ago? And to the point where I'm probably driving them nuts wanting to do stuff some nights.
And the story you told me yesterday is you said, so yesterday was Wednesday, and I think you said on Tuesday you actually had a shitty day at work, but.
Oh yeah. But, went out to dinner with the family and we watched a bunch of videos on YouTube and laughed and had a good time.
So a day that would have thrown you to the ground normally.
Yeah. I had the tools and I knew how to use them.
Right.
To just push all that aside. You know what? The day's over. And I had the conversation with my boss, hey boss, I'm moving to a cabin in the woods and I'm going to live off the land forever. And, and she's like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, I know you're right. And now the joke is today, no chance of a cabin in the woods.
Funny. That's awesome. So I think the important thing to recognize, guys, is that, you can never eliminate stress from your life. Like, it's always going to be there, right? It's how you transform it. And I don't think a lot of people realize that, your body actually needs stress to survive. And if you handle the stress in the right way, it actually makes you stronger. It makes you smarter. It makes you calmer. It makes you energized. I mean, would you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
I redirected all of that stress into a PR.
Into a personal record.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That was the shitty day.
Yeah.
Oh, the shitty day ended up being in the personal record day. Oh, I just put that together. That was the 375-pound squat day.
That was the day I said, you know what? Today sucks. I'm going to go out with my family, have dinner, let dinner settle, go work out. Next thing you know, I'm throwing around some crazy weights.
Right.
And then we're laughing at goofy videos on YouTube afterwards.
Right on. Now, during the downtime, right? Was there any other like physical symptoms? You said you were stress eating, you said you gained some weight. Anything else to notice? Were you having any like body aches or headaches or stuff like that? I mean, you were on SSRI, so it's probably helping with that.
Yeah, no real like body aches, headaches, other than the normal aging stuff. It just, for me, it turned into eating.
Okay.
And to this day, if I feel myself getting into a stressful situation and I get up and start moving, I find myself moving to the kitchen, to a cupboard.
Interesting.
And it helps that I've been preparing better. There's some apples, there's some carrots in the fridge. Okay, I'm not going to beat stress eating fast, and I'm not going to beat it forever. I'd rather stress eat an apple than a cupcake.
So you're aware when that's coming on now.
Yeah.
You're aware and you're able to control it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Versus before, what would you do? Just go and pound a bag of chips and not even realize you did it? Or?
Oh, yeah. I'd take the bag of chips up, set it next to myself at my desk. And the next thing I know, all the chips would be gone.
I hear
I
you.
think one of the worst days. One of my weaknesses is Swedish fish candies,
Okay.
and I bought a big bag, and this was during the dark period. This is about 2 years ago, and I left it next to my desk. And throughout the day, I would reach down and grab some, and I went through that whole bag in about 2 days, and I felt so gross and so awful. And even my wife was like, "What are you hiding Swedish fish in your office?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm a horrible person."
Yeah, and then you just feel guilty and you're just like resenting yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing. So guys, I think the important thing to note here is that, burnout happens even when there's nothing tragic in your life going on. And it comes from typically from working to the point where there's just no excitement in your life. And then it can stem, for Sean, it was depression with some overwhelm and some weight gain. And it's different for everybody. And Sean, what would you recommend people do?
I would recommend people ask themselves, where do you fall on your list of priorities? And if you're not first or second, an argument could be made for third. But if you're putting everybody else ahead of you, this is where you're headed. You're headed to just treading water and wondering why you're not happy. And that's where you guys come in. That's what you guys do. You take somebody who's just treading water, give them a life raft with these cool tools to fix themselves. And that is so key. And I want to make that point. You guys didn't do any of the heavy lifting, pun intended. All of that was on me. You showed me the way, you coached, you supported, but there was no magic wand. There was no Elliot saying, "Okay, you don't have to worry about that anymore." There was no Adam saying, "All right, I'm going to take care of this for you." I had to take care of everything on my own. And it was, because I started talking to you.
And we kept you accountable to it.
Absolutely.
Kept you accountable to it. So guys, I think the moral of the story is, if you're sitting there right now and let's say you have a goal and it's just a dream and you're really just tired of having more dreams and memories, or let's say you're kind of like where Sean was and you're like, I don't even know what I want anymore. And you're just not excited when you wake up in a day and you're living on autopilot. Or as Sean says, he's treading water and living in survival mode. We want to offer you the chance to talk to us. Come on over to movethinksmile.com/talk, book a call. It's about 45 minutes long. It's going to be the best 45 minutes you spent on a long time on your life. You're going to chat with myself or the founder of Move Think Smile, Elia. And I think it's really life-changing for a lot of people. I interviewed David a while ago and, he's been making massive progress in his life and in his construction business that he owns. Just anybody who saw that, just a quick update on David. He's now building a custom hotel, which is really cool. He got out of a toxic business relationship and he's doing some really cool stuff. And Sean is just like I said, just taking bad days or potentially bad days that would normally throw people under the table and slam them down and just ruin the entire next week, let alone the weekend and any time that they could possibly have. He's now unplugging immediately after bad situations and going and doing really cool things and then having really good impact with his family. Right?
Yeah. I'd like to think I am.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm pretty sure you are.
I hope they think that.
Yeah. I'm going to bet they probably are. Like if I were to talk to your wife, it's like, how was Sean about a year ago? And how is he today? She'd be like, much better. So Sean, do you have any parting shots for anybody?
Thank you and Elliot for everything you've done for me. I can't thank you guys enough. And I'm not done. I'm not leaving just yet. So I've still got a few more lessons to learn, but you've been fantastic.
Well, thank you.
And you guys do some good work.
Thank you. We really appreciate that. It's so awesome to see and to hear and help others out there. And that's really our goal. So guys, if you're experiencing something similar to Sean, if you got some burnout going on, and you're looking for some ideas, book the call with us, movethinksmile.com/talk. Thank you, Sean, for sharing your story, and being vulnerable and putting yourself out there. It's really amazing to see what you've done. And we'll meet you in Iceland.
We'll just do it.
All right, guys. All right, group. We'll see you guys soon.